Hello and welcome to this episode of Not Just Ghost Stories. I'm your host Josh, joined by Jackie and Laura. We are a small team of experienced paranormal investigators, and here we discuss the different locations that we've investigated, along with a little history and the paranormal evidence that we found. Today is going to be a little bit of a different type of show. We're actually on a live ghost hunt at Rohs Opera House in Cynthiana. We're going to have some guests coming in and out during the podcast. So we're hoping that maybe we get something in the background. Maybe we'll get some evidence that we can show you online, and then get everybody else's experience here. What do you guys think of Rohs Opera House so far since we've been here?
Well, when I first walked in, I said it seemed welcoming. I don't know if that's just because I'm not even for sure at this point how many times I've been here. But it also feels a little different. So I guess we'll see. We haven't ghost hunted it at all ourselves tonight, so I'm interested to see what it's like this time around.
Well, you two were out taking a break. I pulled out my crystal ball and I had my recorder on. We weren't recording the podcast, but I had my own recorder on. And because of the crystal ball, I think, and also because they showed an interest in what we were doing here, setting up 5 microphones and stuff like that, it was very crowded in here. So I invited them to actually be a part of our podcast, and we did a little EVP session, and hopefully I got something.
That'd be awesome. I mean, overall, this is, we've been here. I think Laura and you and I have been here. This is our third or fourth time.
I know it's at least the third.
Yeah. Jackie, I don't know how many times you've been here.
About 5 or 6.
Yeah. And each time I've walked in here, things have always felt a little different. This one, it is more like you just know as soon as you walk in, you're going to get something. Something's going to happen here, whether it's going to be a shadow figure, whether it's going to be just disembodied voices or anything like that. Everything seems to be a little bit more active tonight, which I think is pretty cool.
Well, on the walkthrough, we did not participate in the walkthrough because we were checking to see where we wanted to do the podcast. We are in the hallway on the second floor, and there is a portal. The portal currently is closed and will probably stay closed. But sitting there, all of a sudden there was, and it was blue, and it was on the bathroom door. At first I thought it's a reflection of light, but I have nothing blue on me. I didn't have a flashlight on. I checked my watch thinking it was my watch face, and I didn't get anything. It remained there for probably about 30 seconds, moved about 6 inches, and then disappeared.
All right. So that was just, I mean, we'd only been here for, a half an hour during that time.
Yeah, we hadn't even set up, or they were still on the walkthrough.
Yeah, we were just trying to figure out where we're going to set this up.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to be productive before we came. As people can probably hear, I don't sound so well. I don't feel so well. But I knew that I had to come to this one because I was not going to miss it. I'm not for sure what I was going to miss, but something's going to happen. I will say that when we crossed the county line to get here, I said, Josh, I was like, you're going to have to pull over. I'm going to have a panic attack. I haven't had that in months. And it came and went just as fast. It was like my heart hit the floor and then it just went away.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was, and I'm the navigator and driving, so that's kind of scary. But at one point, I was terrified. And I thought, I'm going to Ross. There's nothing terrifying there. But I was terrified. And then maybe a mile down the road, gone.
All right. And we weren't even driving together, so that's actually pretty cool that you guys were having, feelings kind of as you were headed toward this place today.
And I believe I come down 36. You guys came down 27?
Yeah.
So different roads, too.
Yeah. So that's a pretty cool thing. Well, we're going to have on a couple of guests, and we'll introduce you to them here. Could you all tell us your names?
I'm Jenna Bleska.
Andy Wolf.
And you guys, this is your all's first time doing Rohs Opera House?
It is, yes.
Yes.
First time I've been.
All right. So, Jackie, you had a couple questions.
I did. I wanted to know how you got involved in ghost hunting.
I kind of got involved through you from meeting you at work. Always been interested in paranormal, the spooky stuff, all of that. And as we were just chit-chatting one day at work, you brought it up. And you asked if we wanted to go to Waverly last January, I think is when we were going to do it. We ended up going in April, and I signed up, me, my husband, my neighbors, a couple other people.
You right.
All very accurate.
But yeah, that's kind of how we met, getting into this field through Jenna and you guys. So, but yeah, that was our first investigation at Waverly, and it was a pretty good one.
Now, everybody out there listening to this is like, those bastards, they went to Waverly.
Waverly was amazing. It was
was.
so much fun. I'd love to go back to Waverly again.
Absolutely. We had some good activity, and I mean, every floor from the body chute to the morgue to all the way up to the top. So it was really good activity.
Yeah, Waverly seldom disappoints. But I'm curious, none of you had any paranormal experience or paranormal things happen to you before you went ghost hunting?
I don't know. I've had some unexplained things happen to me before, like intuition on things, random thoughts that kind of come true at a later date, maybe being sensitive. Nothing like what Laura's got by any means, but I don't know. I'm open to it. I want it to happen. I want to be a part of it. Now, my husband, he's an open-minded skeptic. Like, he 100% wants to be involved in it, but he needs to see to believe. I'm more of just a believer.
I think he believed in the death chute.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, the death chute got us at Waverly for sure. That was super spooky.
Oh, yeah, we got to lay in the body chute too, didn't we? Where they
I
put the
did.
bodies?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get to be a believer when you do that at Waverly.
That was really spooky. That was just weird.
Yep.
And I remember as we were walking down, that little hallway to get to that area, and you were saying, sometimes you'll feel like pressure on your chest or slight anxiety and blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of like a light bulb moment for me where I was like, I've gotten that many times before, just never really realized what it was. And then as soon as she said that, it was like, oh, there you go. You're sensing something or feeling something. But the body lockers were very creepy. It was very unsettling.
Were you as excited to come today
Oh,
as
absolutely.
you was when you went to Waverly?
Yes, absolutely. We're totally down for all of this. But then we got spoiled. I think I was telling you guys earlier that our first big ghost hunt was at Waverly with you guys, who let us use all your toys and included us and helped us out from the beginning. And we went on one a couple weeks ago, and jokingly, we were just like, oh, we're kind of with the B team right now. We've been spoiled. This might not, it's never going to live up to the hype.
Yeah, correct.
Now, I know that you went with us to Waverly. You went with us to Loveland Castle.
Uh-huh.
What did you think of Loveland Castle?
I felt more at Waverly for sure. Loveland was kind of just, I don't know how the right word. I mean, it was a cool castle. It was a lot of artifacts and all that stuff. But to live up to Waverly, I think it was a little. I mean, you go to Waverly to that place, you're like, oh man, you're wanting to catch something. Like, there's got to be something here or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a letdown, but it was a good investigation. We got to see a lot of cool artifacts and that kind of stuff. So that was really neat. I'm more of a history buff too. So.
Well, there you go. Seeing that Loveland is one of those big ones for history, as far as even how the place was built was kind of crazy.
And that's the good thing about ghost hunting. There doesn't have to be any activity at all. It's generally a pretty cool location, even though it maybe ran down and you might fall through floors. It's still usually really cool to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I mean, as far as the Waverly investigation, you guys talked about the death chute and the body, the morgue area. Is there one place in particular that you feel like has stuck with you since we've done that investigation? Like, if for some reason, every time you think of it, that's the very first thing that your brain goes to.
I hate to sound like cliche on this, but the death chute, we ended up, me and you, Scott, Ashley, a couple other people, we went there right before we left, and we were all standing there like spaced out pretty far, because that chute is a lot bigger than I think people realize.
Yeah.
And we were asking questions. We were down there, 15, 20 minutes with absolutely nothing happening. Just No reactions, nothing. And to be fair, by then it was what, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was like 3:30 in the morning. So
I feel like
That's when you're dragging.
yeah, we were.
and I
we were
kind of feel
done.
like the spirits at that point were kind of over all of us having been there that long, so they really weren't interacting. And the last thing Andy says was, "Do you want us to leave?" And I'm getting chills now thinking, and that, what was it, your REM pod?
REM pod and
Lit
all
up
our
like a
equipment.
Christmas tree, bells, whistles, lights, everything other than somebody saying, "Get out." And immediately Andy's like, "Got your message, no big deal." We all said, "We'll see ya," and we just talk her right out of there.
Yeah,
That was
2 or
it.
3 o'clock is always a good time to ask that question.
They were done with us, so we took the hint and we just dipped right on out of there.
Yeah, that was a good one. The fifth floor was pretty good too. We had a lot of kid activity up there. So I'd say the body shoot and the fifth floor where the nurse supposedly hung herself or whatever it was. But we got a lot of kid activity. They would go from one room to the next.
Yeah, the flashlight
bouncing
was
forward.
going on and off
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Our balls, their little
the
cat
cat-
balls or whatever. It was good activity up there too.
Yeah. Now, Jenna, you've only been on a few different ghost hunts, correct?
Yes.
And then, Andy, how many have you been on?
I mean, less than 20, I'd say. But we've done Bobby Mackey's with Jenna. We had some good experiences there.
That
We
was
hit
cool.
Big Bone, done Big Bone a couple times, and gone to Gettysburg. That's kind of how I started in
Okay.
figuring some stuff out.
I want to go
but
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my big one.
It's awesome. It was crazy. The history's there is awesome.
So my big question is overall, seeing things, hearing things, just anything. Is ghost hunting as a whole keeping you intrigued? Like you just gotta you kind of think about it going like I gotta get to the next place. I gotta find
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Generally, on our ride home, we're on our phones looking up places, talking to, what are we going to try next? Where could we go? I'm bugging Jackie every time she comes through the office. I'm like, hey, so what are you guys thinking? You got something on the horizon? Because we're down, we're available. We stand at the back fence and usually have a bourbon and chit chat a little bit and figure out what we're going to do next, or hope to do next anyway.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what drove actually the very first investigation, which for me was Waverly, and it was with Jackie. It was kind of a birthday present from Laura. She's like, here, it's this much, you go. And then after I started, me and Jackie just started going. Laura kind of jumped in, and then all of a sudden we're like, hold on, she's got something going on with her as far as she's a psychic. So, I mean, do you guys feel like as you go to each and every single one, do you feel like the level of you guys being able to do different things is kind of keeps going up and up for you?
Yeah, I would say so.
I do. Yeah. I think our first Waverly for us, Scott and I specifically, is that we were just so excited to be at a ghost hunt and be at this great place. And we even said we're kind of hoping maybe the more we go, if we settle down a little bit, we'll be able to take more in and see more once the nerdy newness stuff wears off on us. But I'm thinking every time it's going to just get a little bit more for us.
Yeah, it does. Now, we're in Rohs Opera House. What do you guys think of this place so far? I mean, we've only been here for, a couple hours, right? I don't even know what time it is now.
We heard an oh shit from them. They were out in the main
That was
auditorium.
it.
Yeah.
No, I'm super excited about tonight. I think something's going to happen tonight. I really feel like
we've had some
there's
good,
so much.
decent activity so far, and we haven't even been here 2 hours yet. So
Yeah, so this place is kind of living up to its expectation for you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I do.
That's awesome. You got any more questions, Jackie?
Yeah, just one. What do you think of that bathroom at Waverly? That was like going into like a bordello or something.
Taj Mahal.
Yeah, considering like the hallway to go into there is, kind of
rough.
not ramshackle, but yeah, it's kind of what you expect from this old abandoned hospital. And then you walk into this bathroom and it's like marble and these light fixtures.
I know, it was like when I needed to take a break, why did I not come in here?
Yeah, why was I sitting in those crusty chairs down the
Yeah.
hall? I could have sat in the bathroom all night. That was,
I swear, it was a bin cleaner.
yeah. It was a very pleasant surprise. I'm going to tell you, I didn't mind that bathroom at all. This one, I made Ashley go in with me twice. I'm not taking any chances.
It's dark in the bathroom here.
That's funny though, because the very first time that we ever came here, it was one of Laura's kind of first ghost hunts.
Yeah.
and I had to actually stand at the door while she was using the restroom.
There's
She,
Oh
no
yeah,
shame. No
I
shame.
wouldn't even stay in the lit hallway by myself.
I,
Yeah.
If they went in a room, I went in a room.
I get.
If
yeah.
they turned around, I turned around.
I remember before we went to Bobby Mackey's, we went one night with Andy and Ashley, my husband and I, and like saw Jackie at work that day. And she was like, oh, yeah. She's like, you know what? The bathroom, you got to watch out in the women's bathroom. So, of course, that's all I think about the entire night. And I made my husband go in with me because I don't know where Ashley was at that time. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You do get used to it though. I mean, when we got here today, I walked up here. I don't even know where a flashlight is. So you do eventually get over it.
I'm here for it. It's exciting. I'm here for all of it.
awesome. Well, we would like to. We'll let you guys go and investigate some more, but we'd like to
Okay.
talk to you kind of more toward the end if you guys are up for it.
Sure. Yeah, we'll swing by. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you in a bit.
All right. Well, since we are at Ross Opera House, and it is an active ghost hunt, I think we're going to go try to do some ghost hunting here in the middle of the podcast. What do you guys think?
Yeah, works for me.
Well, I know there's going to be some activity, so we're going to have to do something to find it.
I would like to point out that Jenna stood there and said the same thing. She's excited because she feels something's going to happen tonight.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, we've got 3 people that are showing. They have that feeling that something's going to happen. I mean, I felt it as soon as I walked inside the building, the front door. I was like, whoa, this is a total different feel here than the past few times that I've been here. So it's kind of nice. So we kind of want to do some of the ghost hunting ourselves. If we find anything, we're going to put it into this podcast. But we're hoping we can get some EVPs for you guys to listen to during this podcast.
I know Laura's a little under the weather, so we kind of told her, don't be a psychic today. I don't know if you can shut it off. Not being a psychic, I can tell them what to do because I don't know the rules. But having said that something's going to happen, I got a little voice in my ear that said, yes, there is.
All right. See, even more exciting for us. So stay with us as we go decide to, or trying to figure out a place to go do some EVP sessions. All right. And we are back from doing some ghost hunting here at Ross Opera House. We've gotten some responses on the Donner that actually were pretty good. We had a bunch of different stuff happening inside of with the other people too. They're hearing some whistles. They're hearing things like disembodied voices behind them that they're not sure where things are coming from. What other things have we had happen?
Can I tell them the best part?
Let's go for it.
Well, Laura had a little clip of Zach ghost hunting somewhere, and we let this ghost listen to it. And over the Donner, we got laughter.
It was a fun session, I have to say. I'm glad I played that. I'm going to just start bringing more videos.
Yeah, it was. We had asked if he had ever been here, which we already know the answer to that. They said who? They ended up saying. So we said, he'll probably classify you as a demon, and that you scratched him when you didn't. And Laura said, would you like me to pull up a clip for you to watch? And they said yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she
Very
did.
clearly.
It was very clear on the Donner. I'm hoping we can get all this into the podcast so that way you can kind of hear what we were experiencing during that time. And once she started playing it, we had laughter literally come over the speaker. And for people that don't know what the Donner is, there's a piece of equipment out there called the portal, is what most people call it, or the gateway, I think is another term for it. And you take an S box or a SB7, and it plays through. It's just got reverberation and stuff on it, so the words come through clear. So that we just call ours the Donner because it's the equipment that it's made out of. And it was getting some pretty good reaction here. So I think that's one of the first times that I ever heard laughter come over top of it. Jackie, what about you?
I've never heard laughter come over it.
So
I like his response after the recording. Wow. I've
After
also never heard wow.
And that one was loud and clear also. So it was an interesting session. And then the session that we just came from was up in the attic part. And
You
Jackie,
wanna,
do you want to explain it, or do you
no,
want me to?
do you want to tell them why we went up there?
Well, the last time that we were here, I was interacting with some type of shadow or spirit or up there that had for some reason just wanted me, and was talking about my family, like they knew my family, or they wanted something to do with my family, that not 100%. So after I ended up remembering that, we decided to go up there and check it out. Ended up seeing this shadow figure that we ended up figuring out was actually not from around here. And what I mean of not of this plane, he was stuck. He or she was stuck between two planes. And the best way to describe it, I guess, would be in the movie Poltergeist, when she would hear the voices and it sounded like it echoed. It was in different planes. So if you've ever seen that, that's kind of what they were mimicking. So we were trying to decide what exactly to do with this thing, between one of our crystal balls and things like that. It said send it back. It wanted to stay in this plane, on this level where it was at. However, in my head, it was told not to stay in this level. That it wasn't good. If it did, it was running away from something bad. It did. People were after it, or other things were after it. So we had to open the portal in order to try to push it back. That was mostly on Miss Jackie over here. She's I think it wore you out pretty good. Am I right about that?
Pretty much. Remember when I said I was going to do it, it'd be bad for me. So
Yeah,
there's a bit of pain going through me at the moment.
gotcha. It really heated up the room, didn't it, Laura?
Oh yeah, it got extremely warm in there. Before they even discussed the portal, I actually had removed myself from the room because I had felt something brush up against me. But by that I mean like a complete energy field. I don't really think I am in a position right now to prevent being jumped, so I just left the room. But then when Jackie's coming up with this plan of what she needs to do, it's like I guess I'm going back in the room. So back in I came. But yes, basically I only supported her in this one. I imagine what she kind of walked us through that she was seeing in her own mind did happen, and just kind of followed her lead with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I was trying to support by just, trying to give some type of energy shift to just make it easier on her, but it was a little rough. And I know that, for skeptics out there, it's a far-fetched story, but it was a little terrifying to me at first to try to open this thing up, because we had to reverse this portal that
Instead of bringing things here, we made it so it would allow things from here to go through. Not so much allow things from here to go through, but we created a wind that made sure the thing on the other side couldn't come through.
Yeah. And basically pushed him back onto the plane that he's supposed to be on, not here.
So we basically opened it one way.
Yeah. It's hard to do, and it's hard to fathom in your head until you actually are in that situation. But it's different. It really is different on when you run into something like this. Was it bad? I don't think it was completely bad. I didn't feel threatened by it, but it just was not right, is the way I felt about it. It wasn't right. It shouldn't be here.
It's an entity that doesn't belong on this plane. And for wherever it was from, it had done things considered wrong. Being here, we don't know if their wrong is our wrong, so who are we to judge? But he still didn't belong here.
Yeah, I agree. So with that, we're going to...
Well, actually, let me add the last layer. they weren't privy to this. I was going to open the portal. I was going to let it in. I was going to let it out, knowing that A, it wasn't good for me, and B, it probably wasn't good. I don't want to say I was possessed, but I was going to open the portal. And maybe I would have stopped if you guys would have went no, but I don't know. And like I say, it was still me, still acting as me. I had everything laid out. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it wasn't good for me, but I was going to make it happen.
Yeah. So luckily, you made it happen, and just in the opposite way, in order to just push him back, not to let him through and then try to push him back. I think that would not have it turned out well for anybody.
I'd be curious to see what your thoughts are on it in a week from now, once you've completely processed all of it.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
I don't think I will explore my thoughts on it.
That's probably a good point, the way you're looking.
Okay, so our next segment, we're actually going to pull in a couple more people to interview on the ghost hunt. One of them, this being his very first one. So I'd like to try to get him on here. So I'm going to go try to find him and see if we can get him here.
I tell you, man, every time they pass through, they look like they're having a really good time.
I will say that, yeah. And, I mean, they're having fun. They're actually seeing things, hearing things. It's been a pretty interesting place thus far. I think so.
I'm thrilled it's been active for them.
Yeah, me too. All right. Now we have our next guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Tyler Toops.
Tyler. So this is your very first ghost hunt.
Yes, this is number one.
So what do you think so far of Rohs Opera House?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I've really, really enjoyed it. Kind of got me hooked early. We were down in the bottom, kind of talking and whistling. And then from the top balcony, we got a very, very clear whistle back. And we ran out the door and asked if anybody else was in there whistling. They said no. And kind of felt like I was crazy for a second, but we both looked at each other and we were like, all right, well, that's the start to it. But I've loved it. I've had a really, really good time so far.
Now, with it being, newbie, I remember being there. Did you come in with any type of expectation, or you're just like, oh man, there's nothing here?
Expectation, I wouldn't say yes, but I definitely thought there was going to be something here. Like, I don't think, I definitely believe, so I was kind of hoping I would see something, and I didn't know what that would be, but I guess I had a little bit of an expectation to see something, but I didn't know exactly what that meant.
Jackie, you got a question for Tyler?
Yeah, did you have any experiences before you came on your ghost hunt?
Not really to myself personally. As a kid, I had, I guess, a little bit of experience with a friend that grew up down the street from me. We went up there one night hanging out like we always did, and his older sister got her hands on a Ouija board, and they went out to the garage and do you want to come? I was like, not really, but I'll stand back. I don't want to participate. And as the session went on a little bit, some things kind of started happening on the board and moving a little bit too much. So I got out of there. A little bit down the road, they ended up having to move from the house because they couldn't get rid of whatever I guess they had talked to that night. And they had a couple of pets die. They had a couple of bad experiences. Their dad got in a really bad motorcycle wreck, and they ended up leaving the house. So I guess that was my first experience. So from that point, I always kind of believed, and I guess that was my only one. But yeah.
So if we pulled out a Ouija board when we got here, I'd have been
like, you know what? I really appreciate you guys for having me, and thank you for the invite. But I think I'm gonna stay out here a little bit. My heart would have been racing a little more.
For me, Ouija boards are a serious thing. I've just always been a proponent. Like a lot of people, they're sold as a game. And a lot of people play them as a game. For me, they're serious. You're opening up practically a portal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so yeah, when you start to get a lot of weird stuff out of that.
I would think it's all about intent. Some people are like, oh, I want you to do this if you're a spirit. Some people don't honestly believe that. That is not what they really mean. That might be what they say, but they don't really want that to happen. So I think for those people, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and also I work in a high school, and I come across graffiti on the bathroom wall, Hail Satan and stuff like that, and I just think to myself, you kids have no idea what you're messing with. And I think most kids, the Ouija board, it's fun, it's scary, but nothing will happen until
Exactly.
it does.
Exactly. I think that was definitely their intent too, was just to have fun, on a late Friday night or something with some friends. And unfortunately, I think it was something a little crazier.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask this question and try to be truthful. Walking into this place, I mean, you didn't know what to expect. Were you nervous or were you scared or were you both?
I think it had to be a little bit of both. I would say definitely more nervous. Um, I guess maybe slightly a bit scared in the sense of because I've never done it before and I didn't really know exactly what I was coming into. But Jackie did a very, very nice job of when I first got here. She's like, you don't have to invite anything to touch you. You don't have to invite the spirit to you. It's just nice to hang back, relax, see what's going on. And then she, as we leave, she said, just make sure you turn around and say, thank you very much, but please don't follow me home.
Yeah.
And so I think that when she said that, I became a little less scared, but
Little bit
definitely
more-
nervous for sure.
A little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, a little more comfortable, and definitely having a few more people here. I think if you put me and somebody else in here tonight, I think I'm attached to their hip all night. But knowing that we have a few more people, we had 5 people in that room over there. I'm a little more comfortable with everybody else asking questions and me just kind of hanging out and just being a part of it. So
Now, that is not just the beginners. We did, we all did Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, but I did it with another lady and my husband. And I had been ghost hunting for quite a while, but I flat out told him, I said, don't leave me alone in this hospital. It was so active and there was just so much that even I didn't want to be left alone. So the fear is never going to go away. You're always going to be afraid, but sometimes that's good. And it's not just because you're new and stuff like that, but you just learn how to handle it, and you learn that even with the fear, this still can be fun.
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Sometimes the fear is actually what drives you to investigate more because you you want to understand it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
there's still times that I will stop and tell you guys, like, I'm terrified. Why am I terrified?
Because it's not something that we're normally used to.
And really, it's
But
that
it's good to get scared. every
when
once
you
in a
feel
while.
terrified like that, it usually does mean something. So if you do feel that, make sure you stop and see, are you really terrified or are you just unsure of the uncertain?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes a lot of sense.
So let me ask you this now. Is this something that you're going to try to keep doing? Is it something like, hey, man, I really want to find the next place to go to?
100%. I mean, Jenna said earlier that on the way home, I think she's going to be on the phone trying to find the next place we can go. And I think that's definitely something that I'll be like, oh yeah, if you find a good one, I'll be there if you want me to be there. I really do. I think it's very enjoyable.
I have created a monster.
Yes. I was going to say it's very addictive.
Yeah,
It is.
it is. It's definitely like a rush. Especially when we went backstage earlier, you're like, just try to feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you really put that in perspective and you just kind of sit back and, like you said, you don't take a whole lot of like feelings into it. You just kind of sit there and feel. Like sometimes you might definitely feel terrified or feel that energy change, and that's just something you don't usually feel in regular life.
One of the great things about ghost hunting that I've learned over the years of doing it is not only are you learning about the history of places and different things around you and everything else, you're learning yourself. And the more and more you learn yourself, the better you are overall.
Yeah.
And so as you start to kind of really get those feelings, and then you start kind of connecting them to what they actually are. So the energy changes, you're getting that difference between, you're feeling it in your gut and you're starting to get these goosebumps. And why do I have these chills down my back, but they're not like this, type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's no AC on. It's, it's hot as all get out in here, but why am I cold?
Yes. Yeah, no,
So
exactly.
you start to kind of feel those things. So it's really something fun. I mean, that's one of the things that drives me to ghost hunt a lot because I always want to try to find something different about not just that place, but something different about me.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Any other questions for Tyler?
I had one and then I forgot it. So,
Laura,
but it's not a question. But as I talked to you a little bit about it, you go home before your next ghost hunt, get protection. And by protection, I mean whatever you feel will keep you safe from spirits. You can tell them not to touch you. You can have protection. I've had them get through my protection. I don't like it. And then I have to change my protection or up it a bit and stuff, though. So, yeah, just start and talk to Jenna about it because I grilled her on this too. So she can help you with what will protect you best.
Perfect.
Yeah, and when Jackie says this kind of stuff, when we first started ghost hunting together, she started talking to me about it, and I just kind of blew it off. But let me tell you, when it starts to affect you, and then all of a sudden you get that protection, they kind of get everything started, and then you start really kind of feeling yourself again. You're like, okay, I'm starting to understand what this means. So it's just got to be something that's more personal for you that you know can come down. You know, a lot of people do. You know, you have your Thor's hammer is one of your protections. Laura, you have a whole bunch of different protections because you're on a whole entire different psychic level. so I wouldn't be able to name them all. Me, I have a couple different ones that I use in order to make sure that everything's, good. Now they will slip by your protections.
Yes.
We just had that happen recently, haven't we, Jackie? But it happens.
Thank you, Josh. I had forgotten about that.
For protection, I've used everything from a crystal to a feather to a sack of herbs
Yeah.
to simply a thought.
Or surround yourself with a white light. It's whatever you feel is going to protect you.
Okay. Perfect.
Just keeping things in mind. Do you have any questions for more experienced ghost hunters? When I say more experienced, I mean Jackie.
Yeah.
I was going to say, where do we get those experienced ghost hunters? I don't think we brought them.
I think what makes you keep coming back? Obviously, like me being my first time, it's like kind of like the adrenaline and like those first time experiences. What keeps you coming back to like keep trying to find better stuff?
First, I'll give you the short and simple answer. It's our motto. We're badasses, but stupid. So, and I say that because I just did a stupid thing. So, but I had experiences. My grandmother was dead, maybe 3-4 months, and I woke up and she was stroking my hair. And growing up in the house I grew up in, there was a little girl, and she would come tap on my window. I was on the first floor, but my window was up above the entrance to the cellar, so you couldn't stand on the ground. But she would tap on my window. And the cool thing is, of course, I grew up, I moved on. My mom and dad sold that house. We went back just to, nostalgia, and we got to talk to the people. And I asked the lady, I said, did your girls ever say anything about a little girl? And she's like, yeah. They'd be upstairs. They were playing with somebody, and I asked them, and they say, oh, it's just a little girl and stuff. Wow. So that was kind of interesting and everything. What keeps me coming back? It's addictive, and I used to say coming back for the answers, but lately the answers keep coming in questions. Mm-hmm. We get one thing, it's like, okay, that makes sense, and then son of a bitch, there's 12 more questions behind that that you got to figure out. It's just we have fun. Ghost hunting is serious to us, but we also have a good time. We laugh, we joke around. We take breaks, and we pick on each other. And sometimes we ask the ghosts stupid, silly questions, which I think they like it too.
Well, for me also, the adrenaline rush never goes away.
Yeah.
Not for me. Every single place that we go to, like I was talking with you earlier tonight, there was one place I went to, it was a huge adrenaline rush, Wheeldon Manor. When we first walked in, I was like, yeah, we're walking around, and as the night just kept going, I was so worn out. I think we all were, and we're just like, this was a total bust. It was horrible. But that adrenaline rush came back when I started listening to evidence and started getting all kinds of stuff like, why did we never hear this? So now you got that more adrenaline rush. Now it's kind of one of those things like, I really want to go back there and see what happens again.
Exactly.
But that never goes away. For me, it's one of those things. I like the questions. I don't like how many questions there always are. I want to look for the answers, but it just always keeps being questions, and it kind of gets frustrating on that end of it. But it is one of those things, like I always want to try to look for something more. I'm just one of those people, we've gone to Hinsdale. We ran into some really crazy stuff at Hinsdale. I want more crazy stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
I want to try to find it if I can. or try to find some type of answer for why that person's in front of us. But, that's mine. Laura, what makes you keep doing it?
I think as we move along and discover new things and answer some questions and ask more, I find a piece of myself along the way each time. Who I was when I started ghost hunting is definitely not who I am now. And a lot of it is based on the experiences that happened in haunted locations. Maybe not necessarily that experience, but the pondering and figuring out on my own afterwards.
Like falling in a portal?
That's one of them.
That was her second ghost hunt. She fell into a portal.
Well, not really fell into it. The portal started up while she was laying in the bed that the
She was
portal
laying in
runs
a portal.
through.
Yes.
So, it was crazy. It was nuts.
Oh my,
yeah.
that sounds unreal.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was. I was hooked. Here I am.
Like I say, badasses, but stupid.
I love it.
But Tyler, we appreciate you being on the podcast with us and telling us about your experience here at Rohs Opera House today. I really hope that you continue doing it, and we'll hopefully see you again on another one.
Of course, I'm sure you will. I really appreciate you guys helping me with everything and
Sure.
Giving me the rundown of some stuff and kind of let me figure some stuff out on my own too. So thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you. All right, I want to thank Tyler again for coming on the show, and telling us his experience for his first time ghost hunting. So right now, I think the time is about 3:00 in the morning. I'm tired. I don't know about you guys.
We got an hour's drive home, and we probably got an hour of breakdown. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to end up finishing the show on the note of this ghost hunt has been awesome. There's
Yes.
been a lot of activity.
Yeah, I want to review some evidence. I definitely want to see what that Donner said a few times when we know it was a word, but in real time it was just too daggone fast. We didn't have any headphones or playback options at that time.
I just want to say Ross's Opera House, they're great to ghost hunt here. They usually say you can get it at 10, but if the movie lets out, they let you in early. It's very economical, and they just kind of turn you loose, give you the keys, and go, just lock the door when you leave.
Yep.
Yeah, just basically be respectful is all they're asking. Just be respectful. So it is a great place to have a ghost hunt at. So if anybody's looking to do it, even for your first time, there's not anything really horrible here. They will, a lot of the times the spirits will respond. They're used to it. I think a lot of them are, as far as trying to find and different entities here.
They're show people.
Yes, they love to show off.
Yep. They wouldn't be here.
So, well, with that being said, this has been Not Just Ghost Stories. We've been your hosts, Josh
Laura.
And Jackie.
and until next time, you can contact us on our website at notjustghoststories.com and see evidence that we've discussed on Facebook at Not Just Ghost Stories.